people whose lives are touched by your generosity, people whose stories could have been any of ours. Their names are Michael and Anne. Michael.
I believe that I was destined to live the life I led. I do not believe that things just happen. There is a reason why I made the decisions to do the things that I had done. The reason has taken me to this point that I'm able to stand up here in front of you and give my testimony about St. Vincent de Paul. I never really felt in, even in my family. I had 3 sisters, one born in Scotland, another born in Panama, and 2 brothers. I am the middle child. If my siblings did anything good or bad, they would get attention. I did not, so I started doing stuff that I knew was wrong. But hey, even negative attention is attention, right? So I started to shoplift at the base BX. Got caught a number of times too. I smoked my first joint at the age of 8, living in Panama. By the time I was 13, I was sticking needles in my arm. At 15, I did something that cost my dad his officer's commission in the Air Force. And because of this, I made the decision to pack my bags and go live on the street. By 16, I was in a state penitentiary in Florida. I was locked up because of the drugs. In the beginning, it was always someone else's fault, never mine. That was until 7 years ago when I walked into the dining room at St. Vincent's that fateful day. I'd been living under the 7th Avenue Bridge for a year at this point. I would always come into St. Vincent's to get something to eat, whether it was for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. This was the first place that I could remember being treated like a human, not some homeless guy living in the alleys and eating out of dumpsters. At St. Vincent's, the people who worked there knew me by name, and they would tell me how great it was to see me again. There was this one gentleman in particular who would always sit at the end of the line, and every time I came through, he would talk to me as a person, not some piece of trash living on the streets. Well, on this day, this guy asked me if I was ready to stop living like this, because there was only one place for me to go, and that was death. While I was eating breakfast, I had some time to think, and I finally came to the conclusion that he was right. When I finished, I walked over to him and I asked, "What did you mean by that?" This man among men sat down with me and talked about all the things St. Vincent's had to offer to people like in my situation. He proceeded to take me around the campus, and this is where I had started to live. After 33 years of hurting the people who loved me the most, I am finally in a position to pay back what was given to me 7 years ago. For 25 of those 33 years, I had no contact with my family. Not my mom, dad, my 3 sisters, or my 2 brothers. I now know that the choices I made. No one forced me to do those things I did. No one put a gun to my head and said, "Do this or else." And all this time, I was out there living as if no one cared. But there were people who did. These people here at St. Vincent's. Because of the people at St. Vincent's and their undying generosity, I now have a relationship like a son is supposed to have with his mom. We talk every week. Well, almost, when I remember to call her. My first visit with my mom, we stayed up all night talking, and she told me that for the last 25 years, she'd cried herself to sleep, not knowing where I was, if I was alive or dead. I'm still in the process of making my amends to my mother and to my father for the pain and hurt that I've caused them. This process will never end. I took from my mother her son, a love for her son, her heart, and I tore it in half. And for that, I will continue to repay her. Today, I'm in school at the University of Phoenix to obtain a bachelor's degree in science. This degree will allow me to fulfill a lifelong dream of becoming a teacher. I have been in school for a little over 3 years and have maintained a 3.7 GPA. I own a remodeling company, and I work full-time at U-Haul. and I do volunteer work for nonprofit organizations. To St. Vincent's and all the people who work here, do volunteer work, and who support this little window of paradise, I have been eternally grateful. I truly believe if I had never walked through those doors, I would not be standing here today. I would be 6 feet under in that pauper's graveyard over by I-17, and no one would know. Not my mom, my dad, my brothers, or my sisters. I would have died alone. Today I am not alone. St. Vincent saved my life, and I am so glad that the doors were open the day I came through them. And with your help, they will stay open for the next person like me to come through them. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ann Woken, and my family and I are also grateful recipients of the love and generosity of St. Vincent de Paul. Although I'm up here alone, I represent a small family you may have heard about lately. 2 months ago, my son Michael was the young man who was tragically killed at the Reno Air Show. Michael's 3 brothers and I received an incredible outpouring of love and support from the community, including many of you. Thank you. Over the years, God has given me many opportunities to explore just what faith is and what it means in my life. I was raised by 2 loving parents who taught me about God and the power of prayer. But it wasn't until God blessed me with 4 children, 3 of whom have muscular dystrophy, that I really got to know Him and this thing called faith. Faith would allow me to meet the extraordinary demands of a life-threatening disease that prevented Billy, Michael, and James from doing many of the things we all take for granted. Confined to a wheelchair all their life, they are totally dependent on me or someone else for their every need. More times than not, that someone else is their brother Jonathan. Born healthy, active, full of joy, he has allowed his brothers to live vicariously through him. I have found faith leads to hope. Hope is holding on when you don't think there's anything left to hold on to. Having been a full-time mother and caregiver for over 25 years, and a single mother for the last half of them, it was in March of last year my hope was tested when my life took an unexpected turn. Everything important seemed to be taken away. My boys, my income, my security, my purpose in life, my purpose for life, even my hope. It was my darkest moment. Like many of us, never did I think I would be the receiver rather than the giver. A life previously all about giving would now have to accept the outstretched arm of family, friends, and community. It was at that time that I met Art and Michelle from one of the St. Vincent de Paul conferences. They came to my home, arms overflowing with love and understanding. Their respect for me and their compassion for my circumstances led to St. Vincent de Paul providing much needed support in the form of several mortgage payments. I cannot begin to express just how important receiving that support meant to me. Truly a restoration of hope. And where there is hope, there is love. I hold dear to my heart the words of Mother Teresa. It's not what you do, but rather how much love you put into it. Though my job in life is being redefined, I am more determined than ever to go out and be a blessing to others, just as St. Vincent de Paul has been to me and my family. It is because of their love my boys and I still have a roof over our heads. So thank you, St. Vincent de Paul, for saying yes to the needs of my family and to the community. And thank you to all of you who make St. Vincent de Paul possible. We are not all called to be a Mother Teresa, but we are all called to love, to make a difference in our world. Jesus promises us, I will bless you, and you will be a blessing. May you all be richly blessed. Thank you.